Thank you for joining us for our Protect Every Kid press conference. My name is Candy Cushman, and I am Vice President at the Family Foundation of Virginia. And I just want to note that this event is hosted by our local parental rights teams, Speak Up Tidewater and Speak Up Newport News. The parents and concerned citizens that you see here tonight, represented tonight, are asking the question, when it comes to how transgender issues are handled at school, why were our school boards in such a rush to push through policies that cut parents completely out of the process, in large part in response to pressure, political pressure from Governor Northam's office? But now that the pressure is reversed and it's parents themselves that are coming, crowds of parents coming to school board meeting after school board meeting, filling the room and asking for these rights to be restored. Largely, they want these rights to be restored as outlined clearly in the Youngkin revisions. But now, when the parents are asking for this, why is it that these mom and dads, these families are being ignored? It begs the question, who are the school boards really accountable to? In Suffolk, parents are asking this exact same question because their public officials have made statements that they are in opposition to the parent-friendly revisions, despite the fact that numerous families have been showing up at the school board meeting asking them to do the exact opposite, to put parents back in the driver's seat. So why are these parents asking for this? Because at the end of the day, the truth is that policies that insert a barrier between kids and their parents, it opens the door to sexual predators, to psychological harm that results when you are disempowering parents from being that natural protection for their kids. This is not hypothetical. This harm is well documented by the real life stories of families right here in Virginia. But instead of responding to these real concerns and actually taking a public vote like they were asked to do, last week the Suffolk School Board tabled the issue, delaying action once again. And in Newport News, parents are also asking the exact same question because, as you may recall, after first listening to parents who asked them to reject policies that cut them out of the process, they did that. But then, in just a sudden about-face, they rushed through, in a matter of days, a return to the Northam policies. So now parents are asking them to show the same level of urgency when it comes to restoring those parental rights, but they don't seem to be in quite the same rush to do so. That's been the story for months now. Parents have been subjected to delays, endless discussions, even flat-out resistance when they're asking their school boards to protect their kids by protecting their parental rights. But the good news is parents here in Virginia Beach that are represented here tonight, they recently decided that they've had enough and they filed a lawsuit. Victory followed last week when their school board adopted a strong policy that stops the practice of hiding potentially life-saving information from parents when kids experiment with their gender identity at school. It's now time for other school boards to do the same, stop the delays, and follow the law. So with that said, I just want to introduce our speakers. Please save any questions for the end. We are going to have a time for Q&A, but I just want to make sure everybody gets a chance to speak. And it is my honor today to first introduce Maggie Cleary, Special Counsel to the Attorney General of Virginia.
Thank you, Candy. Thank you all for being here this evening. My name is Maggie Cleary. I'm Special Counsel to Attorney General Jason Miyares. 2 years ago, all of the people here and in the Commonwealth of Virginia sent a strong message that parents matter. Now, we're all back here today with the support of Attorney General Jason Miyares to make sure that the Commonwealth of Virginia gets that message loud and clear. I am proud to work for Attorney General Miyares, who wants to ensure privacy, dignity, and respect for all students and parents of Virginia's public schools. We have updated model policies that put parents in charge. We believe that parents are their child's best advocate, mentors, and protectors. Jason Miyares believes that parents are in the best position to work with their children to determine their names, their nicknames, and their pronouns. This is not the job of the schools. We are proud that the model policies that have been issued direct school divisions to make signage and single-user bathrooms available to all students. And we also believe that these model policies prohibit all discrimination and comply with all the applicable laws. We believe that these model policies protect students and they protect parents' rights. Thank you all for being here today.
And now it is my great pleasure to introduce Rhonda Williams, a mother of 3 children here in Newport News, two of her kids are currently attending Newport News schools. Rhonda.
Thank you, Candy. Good evening, everyone. Like she said, I do have two students that attend the Newport News public school systems. And I just want to tell you specifically to the school board that our trust is being lost, honestly. Have you ever heard the term trust is earned in drops and lost in buckets? Well, as a parent, my trust for the school systems are being lost in buckets, unfortunately. We trust you to listen to our voices. We trust you to listen and hear our concerns regarding our children and respond accordingly. We trust you to keep the door of communications open, honest communication. And we don't send our children to school one way for them to identify another way once they're there. We trust you to keep us involved and keep us as the authority in our children's lives. And I do recall, as has been said before, we as the church and the community, we've been in the same exact position before. A couple years ago, where Northern administration put in policies that we didn't agree with as parents in the community. But it was said that it was law and it had to be adopted. We trusted you and believed that you had made the right decision when you decided to reject these policies. But soon we were let down when you were pressured to accept these bad policies. So I have a question. Is the new policy not law? Does it not have to be adopted? Now is your opportunity. Newport News School Board, now is your opportunity to earn our trust back as parents, to earn our trust back as the community, as the church. Demonstrate courage and protect our children by protecting our parental rights and keeping us involved. As parents, we are asking the school board members to incorporate the model policy language that make it clear that no policy, guidance, or written material issued by the school will encourage or instruct teachers to hide information from parents about our children. Make it clear that parents must be notified and given an opportunity to object before counseling regarding gender is given to our children. We want to trust you. Help us to put that trust back in the buckets by cleaning up these harmful policies that disrespect parents' rights to be involved in life-changing decisions for our children. We are asking you to take action now to align Newport News District policies with the revised transgender issue policies released by Governor Youngkin in the Education Department. Thank you.
I'd now like to welcome Douglas Brown, a Newport News School Board member.
Thank you for having me here tonight, and I want to first comment that my comments reflect my own individual views and not necessarily the views of the Newport News School Board. I've been very outspoken, I believe, on this issue, so I will refer people to comments that I made when we took our recorded votes, which there were 2 of them. And I only want to say tonight that I do think that parents are essential to the success of our children, to the success of public education, that without parents engaging and parents doing what they do, then we simply cannot have a successful school division. So I do think that it is important for parents to remain active and involved in the lives of their children, and that all the things that we do as a school board should involve parents and should affirm their right to be notified and involved in the care and decision of their child. All of the research that I have seen, and we do know that these students are in a more precarious situation for committing suicide and other self-harm, that an affirming adult in their life is what will make a difference. And so I believe that nothing that we do should short-circuit their parent being that affirming adult in their life that can help them to make the right choices and the right decisions. So I thank you all for your time tonight, and appreciate everyone's involvement.
All right, next, I'd like to welcome Angela Kilgore, a mom from Suffolk. She is the proud mother of 2 daughters, one of whom personally dealt with a male entering a private female space where she felt vulnerable at her school.
Hi, my name is Angela Kilgore. Today we have 2 Suffolk board members in attendance with us that supports the one that supports my borough. Dr. Dawn Marie Brittingham is here, and I believe Miss Kim Slinglove is another one in attendance. I'd like to give them a shout out and thanks for their support. I have 2 daughters who attended Suffolk Public Schools and a grandson who will be going through the system. My youngest daughter was in school when a transgender student entered the female locker room and invited other male students to enter. This was traumatizing and the beginning of my journey to inform parents of the policies being put in place. I am asking the board to vote for Governor Youngkin's policy. School boards need to stop ignoring parents and take action now. I'm the mom you may have heard about in national news who was banned for praying during public comment at the school board meeting. I'm not here to speak on that, but I did want to express sincerely held faith that the Bible tells us to speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves. I'm going to end with a scripture from Proverbs. Speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves. For the rights of all who are destitute, speak up and judge fairly. Defend the rights of the poor and needy. Thank you all.
Here, let me give you your notes. And now I would like to invite Veronica Williams, a well-respected local attorney and business owner here at Newport News and a Hampton resident. Thank you, Veronica.
Good evening. My name is Veronica Williams, and I am here to respectfully request that the Newport News School Board and other neighboring school boards conform their local school board policies to require parental consent before they refer children to counseling as a result of the children expressing that they're experiencing confusion about their gender identity. This is important because children are actively undergoing gender reassignment surgery in our nation. Upon information and belief, in the Commonwealth of Virginia, before a child is referred for hormone blockers, cross-sex hormones, and/or gender reassignment surgery, the child must first be referred to a licensed mental health care professional for an assessment of gender dysphoria. This is especially important in light of the fact that licensed mental health care professionals in Virginia, according to a state statute passed in 2020, no longer have the ability to exercise independent professional judgment when it comes to counseling children who are expressing that they are experiencing confusion about their gender identity. Specifically, under Virginia law, a licensed mental health care professional is at risk of losing his or her license to perform counseling and therefore their livelihood for unprofessional conduct if he or she counsels a child with gender dysphoria to even consider embracing his or her gender of birth. This means that when a child is referred to counseling, whether inside of the school system or outside of the school system, the child is not being referred to a licensed professional who is free to exercise independent professional judgment. To the contrary, the child is being referred to a professional who is operating under the risk and threat of losing his or her license and livelihood if he or she even suggests that the child consider embracing his or her gender of birth. What we don't want to see is a precious and extremely impressionable child who currently self-identifies as transgender make a decision that they will later regret to have irreversible gender transition surgery while still a minor, and without the parent being notified and giving consent to this counseling as a result of the pressures that are being brought to bear on the young minds and hearts from different directions and from adults in positions of authority who, from a practical perspective, have had their hands tied by statute. For these reasons, I respectfully ask the Newport News School Board and neighboring local school boards to please promptly act to make it clear that children cannot be referred to counseling because they are experiencing confusion about their gender identity or because they currently self-identify as transgender prior to the school obtaining parental consent. Thank you for your attention.
We have one more school board member showed up. 1 minute, yeah. Turns out we have another school board member from Newport News, Rebecca Amon, who's going to speak to us for a couple of minutes.
Thank you, and thank you all for being here. This is awesome to see. I really appreciate it. I think my colleague may have spoken a little bit about sort of the process in Newport News. Our policy is extremely generic, meat and potatoes of it being in a procedure, which we can debate on that as well, but that's where it is. And we've got a draft. It's pretty close. I think it's there. I'd like to see it put up and implemented. Any wrinkles can always be worked out later, but we've got a great policy from Richmond, a model policy. So I think it's wonderful that everyone's here, supporting parents' rights, supporting the division, reaching out to and involving parents and their kids' decisions and what they're struggling with. That's most important. So I just want to thank everyone for being here, and I think we will see something soon. Obviously, I would love to see it sooner than later. So keep on being here and keep on keeping on. Thank you.
And last but not least, we have Victoria Manning. I know you as Vicki, but Victoria Manning, a school board member at large at Virginia Beach.
Thank you. So as school board members and as educators, we know that the best predictor of student success is parental involvement. And that's what these 2023 model policies are about. It's about encouraging parental involvement and making sure that parents are the ones making the decisions for the care and upbringing and education of their child. Every school board member across this Commonwealth should want that. As school board members, we take an oath to uphold the Constitution, and the laws of our Commonwealth direct us to implement policies that abide by those laws. In August, I made a motion on our Virginia Beach School Board to adopt the model policies. Unfortunately, that motion failed. And then a couple of weeks later, 2 mothers sued the Virginia Beach School Board. One mom said that her son was being disciplined at school for not using another child's preferred pronoun. Another mom sued because her child in 6th grade was being taught about gender identity without her permission. A few weeks after that lawsuit was filed, the Virginia Beach School Board had a change of heart, and they adopted Governor Youngkin's 2023 model policies. If school boards don't adopt these policies required by law, they're opening themselves up and their districts to similar lawsuits. Ultimately, this is about protecting children. It's protecting the right to privacy in intimate spaces, the rights of parents to not have other adults trying to influence their children's gender identity. And it's about protecting female sports, for which we've worked very hard for the last several decades. I encourage the Newport News School Board and all other school boards across the state to follow the law and adopt these policies. And parents, if they don't, seek out legal counsel to make sure they do. Thank you.
To summarize what you've heard tonight from these parents and concerned citizens, they are asking their school districts to take immediate action to align district policies with the revised model policies on transgender issues released by Governor Youngkin's Education Department. In particular, these parents want to see language making it clear that schools can no longer have policies that encourage or even instruct teachers to hide relevant information from parents about their kids. Bottom line, it's time to stop leaving parents in the dark when sexual and gender identity experimentation are promoted by school officials to their kids at school. Make it clear that parents must be notified and given an opportunity to object before counseling regarding gender is given to their children. Also, address the fact that schools cannot constitutionally compel employees or students to speak words that violate their deeply held faith or conscience. Schools can and should protect every single kid fairly and equally. And it is possible to do that without trampling on parents' constitutional rights and without ignoring common sense safety needs of kids.